All right, so now we're going to apply that concept, least common denominators. Remember, to be able to add and subtract rational expressions, the first thing you have to do is you have to have a common denominator. Okay, and so here I'm going to see kind of what I have. So I'm going to factor the bottom. So I'm going to see it's no common factors. I'm going to play what multiplies to 25 and adds negative 10. What multiplies to 25 adds to negative 10. What about negative 5 and negative 5? Negative 5 times negative 5, 25. Negative 5 plus negative 5, negative 10. Okay, let's go factor here. These two have 2 in common. So I factor out 2, and then I'll divide each thing by 2, each term by 2, so x minus 5. All right, so now your next step, so we got to find the least common denominator first. Next step is to write down, I'm going to write LCD over here. Write down your first two factors, which is x minus 5, or factors from the first term. And then for the next, I'm going to go to the second piece and say, are there any additional factors that aren't included in this? Well, what about that 2? So times 2. So this is my least common denominator. Now, here's the thing. What I have to do is I have to make both of these denominators equal this. Okay? So now I'm going to ask myself, and this is going to get a little messy. I'm going to write this again because I'm going to need a little bit more room, and it's not going to make much sense. And I'm going to write the factored form on the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to go and I need to see, I need both of these denominators to look like this. So what does this need to look like this? Well, it needs a 2. So I'm going to multiply the bottom by 2. Well, I don't want to get into that. So whatever I do the bottom, I'm going to do the top. Okay. What does this term need that this has? What does this denominator need? What factors it need that this factor has? Well, it needs an x minus 5. Whatever I do the bottom, I got to do the top. Now, this is a case to where you will need to multiply out the top. Okay, now remember, when you're adding and subtracting, the denominator does not change. So it's going to be 2 times x minus 5 times x minus 5. The numerator will, okay, and we're going to talk about that. Okay, so it's going to be x times 2, so it'll be 2x. And I'm going to write down, I'm going to leave some room here because I got to multiply this out. X times x is x squared. X times negative 5, negative 5x. Negative 4 times x, negative 4x. Negative 4 times negative 5 is positive 20. Now simplify that. Minus 9x plus 20. Now, here's the thing. I'm subtracting this whole quantity. Okay, and so I multiplied out that quantity so I could simplify it with this. I'm subtracting the whole quantity, so I'm subtracting all this. So what I would do is I would add the opposite. So I'm going to do add the opposite. So I'm going to change, I'm allowed to change that to a plus, but if I change the quantities directly to the right, change the sign of each of those. So this will be negative x squared, 2x plus 9x plus 11x, and then minus 20. Now, not out of the woods yet, because I'm going to see if that top will factor. Now, first off, I've got to take out negative 1 out of this. So I'm going to take out negative 1 out of that. So negative 1 times x squared minus 11x plus 20. Okay. And I ask myself, I'll go ahead and write down 2 times x minus 5, x minus 5. I got to ask myself what multiplies to 20 and adds to negative 11. Well, let's see, 5 and 4. No, negative 9. I think we might be good here. I think we might have dodged a bullet here because I don't think this is factorable. So this would be my answer because I can't, there's no common factors left over.